If the thing you care most about when you're shopping for a new exhaust is not the brand name or the price, but just getting that great Hemi sound without having to pay too much money, then this is the choice for you. I'm gonna cut right to the chase. This one absolutely brings the heat with this little flow pack muffler. And you can expect a lot more of that old school muscle car type noise. Accordingly, we're gonna give this a 4 out of 5 on our loudness meter. It's not quite a straight pipe or muffler delete, but it certainly will not be mistaken for stock. Quick note on fitment here before we dive in any deeper. This is designed to fit 2019 to 2024 5.7 liter Ram 1500s equipped with the factory dual exhaust. This is a bit of a unique setup in the exhaust market. As you can see, this is not a full exhaust system, and instead it's just going to replace your factory muffler. So you save on some complication and of course on price, but you can still get all of the sound you want. And as you heard from the clips at the start of the video, it sounds every bit the old school Hemi, just with a lot more volume. The core of this system is of course this flow pack muffler. Now if you're familiar with glass packs, this is kind of similar. It's a straight through design, you've got a perforated core here, so it flows extremely well, but there is a little bit of packing to help keep some noise at bay. Now in this case, as the name would suggest, there's long strand, temperature resistant fiberglass packed in on the sides here. Now that means you get that great Hemi sound coming through, but it's not going to completely blow out your eardrums. So you have that low rumble when you're cruising, and then it absolutely screams when you put your foot down. It's a great complement to other breather mods, or if you just want to get your truck noticed without having to spend a bundle. This is also a totally bolt-on part that's only going to replace your muffler, so it will utilize your factory over axle pipes and tips. So appearance-wise, this can be about as stealthy as you want, but there will be absolutely no mistaking that your truck has something cooking when you start it up. The muffler features an aluminized steel shell with that perforated core over top of long strand high temp fiberglass packing. The aluminized steel material here is well suited to a truck that lives in a dry climate, and it will save you quite a bit of money versus a comparable 409 or T304 grade stainless setup. And that might just be the best part, as the whole kit is only going to run you about $275, which is a pretty darn good price for something like this. And it makes it one of the most affordable exhausts on the market for these trucks. Where you save in cost is pretty clear. The material is not as expensive here, but this kit has the good stuff that you want and nothing you don't need, which makes for a pretty appealing package at its price point. Installation is going to get a 1 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and the job should take you about 1 hour, maybe a little bit more to complete. Really, nothing is too strenuous here. Again, this is a totally bolt-on job. It comes with both of the clamps that you need, so you really just need to unbolt your old muffler and bolt this one into place, and you don't need to modify anything on the truck itself in order to get this fitted. We're going to walk you through the install process right now, so for that, let's head on out to the shop.
For this install, you will need an impact, 14 and 16 millimeter sockets, a marker, a Sawzall. Also not shown here is a pole jack or a jack and jack stands. What's up guys, today we're going to be doing an exhaust on our Ram, so let's get started. Alrighty guys, so what we're doing today is essentially just doing almost a muffler delete, just adding a very small and higher flowing muffler onto our factory exhaust system. So we don't really need to mess with the over axle section or the tail section, nor the rest of our system past our 2-bolt flange. Now what you want to do for the easiest way to get this done is you're going to cut your factory muffler at the inlet and the outlet section. Now you'll notice we have a Torca clamp on ours. This already has been cut from previous installs. And the easiest way to do this is to cut your outlet section while it's on the vehicle, because you're just not going to have to deal with the rest of your exhaust. So you want to have a pole jack underneath here to support your muffler, and I would recommend a Sawzall because it doesn't create sparks, as we have a fuel system pretty close to it. Chop that off pretty much right at the outlet of that muffler. And then we're going to unbolt the 2-bolt flange on the other side, and then we can pull that assembly out and cut the inlet side of our muffler on the table. Just going to make things much easier, a much simpler removal. So what we're going to do is remove our Torca clamp. If you are curious about Torca clamps, most times the nuts on them are 15 millimeter sockets. As you can see, when we loosen that up, that's going to free up our outlet section. So now that we have that done, and at home again, you're going to cut this, and then we're going to go to our 2-bolt flange, remove those bolts, and then we can remove our muffler section without disturbing the rest of our exhaust. So now we'll remove the 2 bolts on our flange with our 16 millimeter socket. It's going to make this come loose. And that pole jack is going to support that. And we still have our hangers in, so it's not going to move just yet. So to get our hangers out of our isolators, we're going to grab our hanger removal tool, pop these out. We'll start with this forward one. This one is a little tight to the frame rail, so it may take a little finagling. Once we have that out, we can move on to the two rear. Now we'll get our two rear isolators off, or hangers out of our isolators rather. Get that first one out. This one is a little bit trickier to get. You'll have to kind of slide this. It's much easier after you've cut your outlet. You can move this to the side, kind of shift your exhaust a little bit. You do want to support this on the other side. Now that we have that popped out, we'll lower our pole jack down a little bit. It's going to bring this out quite nicely. Once we have this lowered down, we can pull our muffler out. Alrighty guys, so now we've got our muffler section on the table and we're at our inlet side. Now this inlet tube kind of reduces a little bit into the muffler inlet itself. That's a good reference point on where to cut. So we're gonna take a Sharpie, and this is just for visual reference when you're cutting. I'm gonna go right around that, right where that reduction is. You don't really have to go all the way around, just gonna be where you're starting your cut. Just kind of gives you a better reference to line up. All right, now we're gonna use our Sawzall to cut our inlet side off. Now you always wanna use eye protection when using a saw cutting metal, it definitely helps. So now we've got our muffler cut off of our inlet section. We're going to grab ourselves a whiz wheel. We're going to clean up any burrs as well as the section that our slip joint for our new muffler is going to slide over. Just good practice, makes things go on easier and better. We'll clean up the inside and outside of this. All right, so now we're ready to go on with our new muffler. So we've got our hanger clamp that has a hanger rod on it over our slip joint. We're gonna slide that and line it up with our outlet. We'll get that on. We're gonna bring our pole jack under and get that all the way in. Get this up. This is gonna help support this so we can maneuver it. We're gonna come around, raise our pole jack up a bit to help us out. We're gonna line this hanger rod up with this inside isolator, get that through. And you can adjust this back and forth so that your clamp is going to be at a good spot. Now we're not going to tighten this just yet. We're going to get our inlet side in as well. Now we're going to get our inlet side on, so we'll slide our clamp over our slip joint, our inlet pipe into our slip joint in here. You may need to maneuver this around a bit to get it into place. We'll drop this back down. Once you get that in, you want to bring that hanger back over to your factory isolator. Get that back in place. And what we're going to do is line this flange back up, get our two factory bolts back on. So now that this is in place, we're going to tighten these two bolts back down. Again, with our 16 mil socket. So now we can tighten down our clamp. So we're gonna grab our 14 millimeter socket on our impact. And you wanna run these in back and forth so that they clamp evenly. Now we've got this side snug. We'll do the same thing for our outlet side. We can drop our pole jack out of the way. Now one more thing you want to do is double check to make sure nothing is going to be hitting or rubbing. We'll do a final tighten down of all of our clamps. That's nice and secure. You're good to go. Alrighty guys, that about wraps up our review and install of our aluminized flow pack muffler for your 19 to 24 5.7 liter Ram 1500 with factory dual exhaust. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything Ram, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.